Sports presents Benning Bites with Damon Benning. Benning Bites with Damon Benning.
Great show coming up. Andrew Rogers returns today. We'll talk a ton. We'll preview Nebraska, Minnesota, and we'll talk to Brian Christopherson, make sure we're doing recruiting. Good lineup. So we appreciate you guys. However you get us, Apple, Spotify, Google, just make sure you're a part of what we do. We're fresh on the heels of what I felt like it was a couple of really good days of trying to get past the surface level. If you're part of the fan base that's struggling with how much Kool-Aid to drink, not drink, if you're over the Kool-Aid term and you just want to believe and buy in, you're that too, right? We tried to distinguish the difference between Coach Rule and his staff saying, hey, listen, you know what? It sounds good. And Nebraska fans saying, oh my gosh, you know what? We've been here before, been there, done that. We feel a little burned. And Coach Rule actually going out of his way to give examples, right? But I think I just want to empower the fan base out there to trust your own judgment, right? Where you've seen enough good, bad, whatever, to have your own mental checklist. I'm always trying to empower people to be their own free will thinkers. If you like what somebody's saying and they're backing it up with their actions and they're modeling the behavior, I don't have any problems with hopping on board, right? And I know ultimately it's going to boil down to wins and losses. I do. But much like what we've seen with Coach Hoiberg in basketball, right? He blended a culture. He flipped it overnight. He brought in a staff to help foster what he believed in. It can be done in 1 year. And the culture was so good, they were able to withstand some of these injuries that have allowed them to make this run as they get ready to take on Minnesota tonight. So it's okay to believe. We saw Coach Bolt, who made a concerted effort to flip the roster in the offseason and build chemistry and camaraderie. The only people that hate culture, chemistry talk are people that have never been a part of positive culture and chemistry. Because to argue anything to the contrary that it doesn't matter is disingenuous. It absolutely matters. If you think the Patriot way is only exclusive to New England, you've never been around other winning programs before. Howes Dodge won a ton of games on a smaller scale here locally. There was a culture, right? We saw Creighton Prep win 5 state championships in the late 80s. There was a culture. We've seen UCLA, and I get it, the Wooden. Oh, I paid for players and Lou Alcindor. I understand, but there was a manner in which they went about doing their business. You think Boston and the Celtics didn't play a certain way? You think the Astros don't do things a certain way? Yeah, DB, they cheat. Banging on trash cans doesn't help you a ton when it comes to getting guys out and developing young bullpens and having guys like your kitty and your quitty. Your kitty. Who's kitty? My kitty, your kitty. You are QUIDY. It doesn't really matter in terms of evolving and growing young bullpens. That's my point with the Astros. Culture matters. So we've seen it with Coach Cook in Nebraska volleyball. We've seen it with Coach Mack in Creighton basketball. There is a certain way that folks become accustomed to doing things that it's okay to buy into. It's okay. We still know that it matters at the end of the day to win more games than you lose, and that's what they're working on. But he's giving you tangible examples of what it looks like to hold people accountable. You guys have heard me say for 12 years, hey, I like to coach my way into having options. I don't want to have to be married to one particular player because if he's not playing well, I don't want that being the only way that we can go. I'd rather be caught with than without. That's what they're after, and that's what player accountability does. If you look at a Husker height video and you see a coach carrying Teddy Prohaska, who's all of 331 pounds, it's not just the fact that that coach is strong enough to carry him. It's the fact that that coach is willing to carry him, because the symbolism is, I'm not going to ask you to do anything that we as a staff aren't willing to do. That, my friends, we call modeled behavior, and it matters. If doing the small things means being 10 minutes early and you're on time, then God dang it, be on time. If it means a couple of extra reps, then do the extra reps. If it means going to sand volleyball when you maybe would like to stay in and catch a home-cooked meal, then get to sand volleyball. Because I know if I can count on you to do things that you don't want to do, you most certainly will develop some characteristic traits that'll help you weather the storm when it's not comfortable. It's not always rainbows and butterflies, right? Maroon 5, their lead singer, he got a job on The Voice because of that line. It's compromise that moves us along. But compromise doesn't mean settling. It means knowing that I'm going to allow you to pick me up when I'm not feeling good, and you can check me when I'm not hitting on all cylinders and let me know that my 70% needs to be better. That's compromise. It's truly compromise. It doesn't mean settling. It means coming to an agreement that what's good for both of us will get us to where we need to be. And I trust you that we'll be on the same page. It's a powerful thing when you watch it work. Let it happen. Remember, Apple, Google, Spotify, however you do it, we want to be a part of your day. Stick around for Coffee and Cream with Andrew Rogers. It's going to be another fantastic show. It's another episode of Benning Bites.